Today is Thursday, June 12, 2014, the 163rd day of the year. There are 202 days remaining until the end of 2014. Sunrise this morning was at 5:06 a.m. The sun will set at 8:35 p.m. Length of daylight hours today will be 15 hours, 28 minutes, 33 seconds of visible light, 16 hours, 36 minutes, 22 seconds. Tomorrow's daylight will persist 35 seconds longer than today. The full moon, 14 days old with 99% illumination, rises at 8:01 p.m. and sets at 4:48 a.m. Friday. Algonquin tribes knew this moon as Strawberry Moon, a time to gather ripening strawberries, also Rose Moon and Hot Moon. The moon passes today above Rutland City at 227,974 miles distant from the center of planet Earth, appearing within the 9th zodiacal designation, Sagittarius, the Archer. Under cloudy skies in downtown Rutland, expect morning showers today with a high temperature expected around 69 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. Southeast wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain today 40%. Tonight, cloudy with a few late showers developing. Low temperature around 61 degrees. A 30% chance of rainfall. Southeast wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, rain with thunderstorms around, a high temperature near 75 degrees and wind south-southeast 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Pollen count today is moderate, 7 out of 12. Humidity today is high at 93% on account of the showers. UV level is safe, 0 out of 16. Air quality is good, ozone level is 0. Highest temperature in the contiguous United States on Wednesday is 119 degrees at Death Valley in the Golden State, California. The lowest temperature is 25 degrees at Stanley in Idaho, the Gem State. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, because it's only when he's alone that he's really free. Arthur Schopenhauer. On this day in 1963, civil rights leader Medgar Evers is slain in Jackson, Mississippi by Ku Klux Klan member Byron de la Beckwith. Medgar Evers is a World War II veteran of the Battle of Normandy who worked to end segregation at the University of Mississippi. Early in the morning on this day in 1963, at the age of 37, with a wife and small children, Evers is shot in the back through the heart in the driveway of his home in Jackson. He's taken to a local hospital for emergency treatment, but is refused because of his color. A fertilizer salesman and member of the so-called White Citizens Council, Byron de la Beckwith, is tried twice for murder, but the juries in deadlock failed to convict. De la Beckwith is a free man for 30 years before he is again brought to trial based on new evidence. He's convicted of murder in the first degree on February 5, 1991. Byron de la Beckwith dies in prison at the age of 80 in January 2001. Medgar Evers is buried with full military honors in Arlington National Cemetery. Born this day in 1941, Marv Albert, American sportscaster from 1967 to 2004. Marv Albert is the voice of the New York Knicks. He's embroiled in a media frenzy in 1997 when he's accused of throwing a 42-year-old woman on a bed, biting her on the back, and forcing her to perform an unnatural act, not involving teeth. He denies the charges, although DNA from the woman's bite wounds and a sample of bodily fluid taken from her undergarments link him with the woman. During the trial, another woman, age discreetly undisclosed, testifies Marv Albert had applied the chopper technique on 2 separate occasions. You'd think after the first time she'd figure it out, but no. In Dallas, when Marv Albert faxes her to show up at his hotel room, she does so, finding him wearing white panties and a garter belt. The color in this detail is important for the record. Marv Albert, testifying in his defense, claims the woman requested that he bite her. He denies that he asked that she bring another man into their rendezvous. Marv Albert is given a 12-month suspended sentence, released from his NBC contract after 20 years on the job. Though, to be fair, NBC hires him back less than 2 years later. Don't lose any sleep worrying about poor old Marv Albert. The kids love him for his work on behalf of the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Mass. He's named the voice of basketball and the importance of dental hygiene.
Même constat, c'est un film que j'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Un film $85 billion worth of fake money.
Nature World News reports Iran is facing critical shortage of water as arid temperatures rise with the encroaching summer season. According to Future Directions International, an independent strategic analysis group based in Australia, Iran began to experience notable water supply drops in 2013, with lower than average precipitation levels leaving the great majority of the region's dams and waterways under desired capacity. Making this shortage problem worse, the region is traditionally dry and arid, putting water supplies at risk during the hotter seasons, with an estimated 70% of precipitation lost to evaporation. In 2013, the Iranian government called for greater water conservation efforts, worried that changing airways associated with global climate change would result in even more arid conditions in the coming years. Now, several major bodies of water in the region have all but dried up, according to Payvand Iran news service. The New York Times reported earlier this year Lake Urmia, one of Iran's largest Great Lakes, currently holds only 5% of the water it held several years ago, with the majority of lakebed now baking in the hot sun. As summer approaches and temperatures rise, water scarcity in Iran is becoming a national emergency. This is today's Weather Minute. I'm Richard Alcott.